and welcome to the AEW Dynamite review. We are the Dudley Boys of What Culture. I'm Adam Wilbourn, joined by Michael Hamflett and Michael Sidgwick, here to review everything that happened on last night's episode of AEW Dynamite. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure you subscribe to What Culture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Where we do daily wrestling podcasts where we not only review AEW Dynamite, but also Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Pay-per-views, premium live events. We have interviews, roundtable discussions, and a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on Wrestle Culture. As I said, though, joined by Hamflett and Sidgwick to review last night's Dynamite, an eventful show.
Very eventful. Some of it was great. Some of it I couldn't be arsed with at all. I think there are certain fundamentals that remain. I think I'm the low voter, though, on this episode. I think, we haven't really discussed it across the desks. We like to keep it fresh sometimes. I feel like you guys liked it more than I did. I love the world title picture still. I really think it's strong. I think I've got an issue with virtually everything else. But we'll get to it.
To be honest, I feel much the same about AEW that I do about WWE at the moment. I'm just reminded about it more with WWE because there's just more of it. Like they've had the pay-per-views, the Saturday Night's Main Event, whatever. I'd like a good start of the year, green shoots everywhere, things to potentially get excited about. And because it's all still potential that hasn't yet been squandered, I don't mean that cynically. 2025 was a bit of a bust, ultimately, across both companies, all of them.
That generational bum, John Cena, was responsible for a lot of it.
Highs and lows, both sides, Great point. I've got a good feeling about most of this stuff, and there's nothing particularly popping the bubble. My optimism's not being tarnished by anything I'm watching.
Not with that issue. I agree with you on that one. But I actually feel invested in it, which I haven't felt for a long time. Like a lot of the stuff I'd watch previously, it'd just wash over me. Now, like you say, very good wrestling, obviously. It feels weird to just be dismissive of these people are incredible at their craft, but it was very nice.
What else you got?
Yeah.
It's not weird to be dismissive.
What else you got?
It's not weird to be dismissive of it. That's the problem that we're the only ones that are brave enough to solve.
The thing is that we're a little bit too real.
It was this thing that I think crept up on wrestling, really. And then starting to dismiss it was one of the only ways in which you could try and, as a fan, work your own way out of it and find the things you like or whatever. I don't know. I think it's not weird to dismiss it because if you identify a part of the product, even if the product itself is the wrestling, that is no longer exciting or gratifying or anything like that, be critical of it and ask why and sort of investigate it. I'm with you. Dynamite was really boring. And I thought that was the only way to call it. I saw it. And one of the reasons was because of the matches. And not nobody, obviously. There will be plenty of podcasts that said, I'm pretty bored by this. I'd like to feel like stars getting promoted or whatever. But it was a Tony Khan problem because he, you'd say this all the time. So it's just well, no, he doesn't get bored or tired or lack energy promoting all of these matches. So he just assumes that of his audience. And for the longest time, it isn't the case. I think it's key to why the title picture feels interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not just investment, and by the way, of excited for Las Vegas and Australia and all that's coming up in the next few weeks. I felt passionate and not necessarily happy about some of the results on this show. Some of the stuff, and otherwise, previously, I'd just been oh, well, what are you going to do? On to the next one sort of thing. I was I actually feel something about this. And I know we all did, felt something about this opening match.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
A universal 8. When we're wrong, we're wrong. Well, we weren't wrong, actually, because we called how this should have gone. But
we did talk ourselves into it. Well, Hamflett did, and then we got positive about it.
Yep.
It was, in case you're unaware, the show opened with Kenny Omega's music hitting. Rocky Romero is already in the ring for their match.
I'll never slag him off again for a few weeks.
He was perfect.
Remember the Omega match?
Yeah.
He was perfect.
Because he thinks he's all there in a bag of chips. Jumping Omega at the bell. He stops to celebrate and then pays for it. That would become a theme in this match. Omega throws him in the corner, starts battering him there. There's a Kataro crusher and a running face palm slam from Omega. Romero powders. When he comes back in, uses the referee. Cheap shot. He escapes a snapdragon from Omega, hits a rewind kick. And then acts like he's the goalkeeper for Benfica, scoring in the 97th minute to qualify for the knockout stage of the Champions League for Jose Mourinho. A knee slide celebration only to get his head taken off by a V-trigger.
Oh my god.
The match is
Oh my
over,
God.
Kevin. Let it go. He's dead. I think I fancy another V-trigger, actually. Okay.
I better.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely finished now. Just pin him. I think I'll have the one-winged angel as well. Does that 1, 2, 3. Love this.
I cannot believe how good Kenny Omega looks. When the hell did this happen? It's gone from sort of inserting him in trios matches, shooting angles with Kyle Fletcher that they couldn't follow up on because, as reported by the Observer, Omega didn't really feel up to doing the full Kenny Omega experience, and AEW charge a lot of money for their pay-per-views. He didn't want to shortchange people. To just, all right, he looks like he's in early 2025 shape. As I said, this sometimes can go awry as the months unfold, but he looks so springy, explosive. He looks like he's enjoying his pro wrestling again and not just doing stuff with the Bucks like a skive at work almost with your mates. Like he's got such a mind for putting together a TV match. He's got such a wickedly, blackly comedic mind to just create this moment out of pretty much nothing against this sort of an opponent that no one was particularly inspired by. That moment, the V-trigger in the back of the head, Kenny Omega gets the violence of wrestling comedy better than most wrestlers ever. He's phenomenal at it. It's one of those you could see it coming as soon as you saw the stupid look on Rocky Romero's face, which he hammed up and played up exactly as he should have. And the shot composition was superb as well. It felt like you knew what was coming. You were allowed to sort of get that sort of sicko sense of dread rising up, knowing you're going to see something wicked here. He's not going to pull it. If he's going to do it to the back of the head, which is just another layer on top of this really great sight gag, he's going to nail him here. I was like, go on. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, he's concussed. Yeah!
Romero just blown a kiss, hadn't he?
Yeah.
To nobody in particular. Bang! He's done it.
Crunch. He has absolutely nailed him, and you have to go that hard for the gag to work as well as it did. He's a worker. He's done it in the blade of his shoulders probably, but the beauty is I didn't see it because of the way it was shot, the way it was conceived, the way it was executed. An absolutely incredible moment of physically violent pro wrestling comedy. I loved it. Here's a question, because I know it's at least once. How many times did you rewind it? I give it 5.
I watched it twice this morning, and then I showed it to Murray as soon as I got in about my favourite bit of the show. And then I think just before you got in, me and Will ended up watching it back twice. So I'm on 5 for the day.
It was unbelievable, that. It'll stay with me forever, that.
Well, was it you mentioned staying with you forever. Was it an unintentional or intentional callback to Will Ospreay doing it to MJF?
I thought that.
I'm on the hunt for you. And remember when this sort of stuff happens, when you fight the real deal?
The first thing I thought of was MJF's going to tap the head at Revolution and he's going to get V-triggered.
Yeah. I felt you instructed to, if you wanted to, call from that.
That's the sort of Kenny Omega pull that he's always loved doing in his career.
It's just such a funny visual.
What is going? You're right though. What's Kenny Omega? It'd be one thing if the commentary and they was telling you, Omega's looking class. He's back.
I think they're basically saying it's not like last year.
Yeah, but Omega's obviously showing you it in these matches that are being.
I just don't know where it came from.
Oh, it's nice, isn't it? This felt calibrated to it, more so even than the Alexander match last week.
Was it the December match where in Manchester, where he teamed with the Bucks and it was against? The Don Callis family. When he looked kind of finished. Finished.
That sounds right.
It was last month.
Was it they had a pay-per-view trios match that was really underwhelming? The one where they finally all forgave each other and stuff. And it was, God. Even the fact that the relationship coming together again got no pop and the match wasn't that hot. They've got nothing left to offer. Yeah. And now from that, for both of them actually, the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, from that to this, really quick turnaround. I'm just enjoying buying it, even if it didn't work.
Same. Omega looks class. It was hilarious. like asked and answered for me. I spent so many episodes, thank you for persevering with us, just quite frankly bitching and moaning about the Elite again. Do you reckon they've actually had that? I mean, I'm not saying they'll never wrestle or team with each other again, but do you reckon they've had the conversation after hearing those reactions at the pay-per-view? I forget even what, probably Full Gear, Full Gear, the Manchester taping, and like, should we do something else? Because this is, it's getting a bit bleak. This maybe we've indulged ourselves one too many times.
Yeah. It's still you'd like to think it's still in their wrestling DNA to know when to read rooms, even if they're not ever necessarily going to be at that type of like relationship with the crowd they had for the formation of AEW, but still there. They still must know. You can be in denial, can't you?
You cannot squander it. I really feel like this is exactly what I wanted out of last year. Love this Kenny Omega direction. His performances have been absolutely sensational. He makes me. The reason why he's my favorite wrestler of all time is ultimately, even though people like Danielson, Tanahashi, probably better catalogs if you look at volume, it's just the feeling Omega gives me. I howl with laughter watching him. I feel like I'm terrified on his behalf. I feel like I'm fighting for him when he's selling. And he elicits so many different emotions. One of them is just, I howl with laughter during some of his stuff. And here I was just like, hey, yeah. Just bleed and just laugh.
I have a question for you two. Who the hell is dressing Tony Schiavone?
You know what? I feel a bit sorry for him, right? It's the fact that he coordinated the outfit, so he's probably thought he looks the business.
He thought he ate.
He thought he ate.
Mm-hmm.
He thought he looked mustard. I love how, like, just... I know I do bury them sometimes for, like, going off topic and all the rest of it, but, like, who the hell's dressing Schiavone? Like, Taz has completely bodied him.
Luminous Head Jones.
I know. It's the funniest thing. I love how it's like, who the hell is dressing Schiavone? Like, it's his mom.
Yeah.
Because, you look cute there, Tony, with your matching out.
Hey,
matching
fluorescent tie-in trainers. It looked like...
Or his missus.
When you've got Dynamite at 8, but a 10K afterwards.
Suit straight off.
It's just, it was almost pitiful because, like, it's one thing to have a terrible look or whatever, but, like, when you think you've dressed your nicest and, like, really good coordination. Oh, bless him. But, like, it fits in with the idea of Tony Schiavone, who was kind of like the endearing, avuncular. He's not cool anymore, but, like, he's just so passionate and geeks out about the wrestling and everything. It was a very Schiavone look.
Maybe it was
for funny and good reasons.
Maybe it was a tease for all the fluorescent Young Bucks Superkick Party stuff heading to Vegas later.
I hope Schiavone does the exact same thing next week, but this week it's luminous orange. Go on, Taz. What are you writing this one?
That's a shout.
Like, just to sort of poke it, because Taz is like this.
You would have a fit.
Short man, short temper. That's Taz's whole deal, isn't it? He's like, he'll just go on something.
Yeah, don't know what that's
Make
like.
this one then.
Don't know what that's like.
What if we do a technique by Taz next week, but it's just Tony Schiavone's outfit?
Where was it?
Oh my God.
Where was it?
Yeah, keep that.
Where is it?
Tailoring by Taz.
Yes. Tailoring by Taz.
Do you think they put it on last week's Dynamite to just like that nice bit of AEW world bin that doesn't matter a lot, but it's just nice when they do it all the same? That like it was Taz using his segment to put over MJF's work, and then they were kind of buddy this week, and that's almost like a continuity choice. It's like MJF can't really trust anyone at the moment. Everyone's coming for the belt. Taz says some nice things about me. I'll not be a total arsehole to him on commentary. Like it's us, guys. Let's get out of here.
They've had this long-standing repartee for quite some time.
Okay, yeah. Just like it was like it's not angle advancement necessarily, but unless they've got a reason for maybe Taz to be speaking on somebody, they might just drop it again.
I think they're just mates.
I like it though. I like Technique by Taz. I welcome it every week.
Oh, Christ, I want it every week.
So yeah, Tony's in the ring talking about all the possible challenges for the world title. He explains that the top 2 contenders are going to face at Green Slam Australia.
I'll level with you. I was a bit confused when he kept going on here.
I rewound this.
I was like, where the f*** is Hangman in all this then? What?
They like Hangman better. So he get like a bit of a bye. Is that how that works? Like he kind of circumvents the mini tournament and gets the match at Grand Slam. Have I got that right?
No.
So hang on. Oh, sorry, Wilbourn, go on then.
Well, he says, yeah,
Is it?
Yes, I think you're right, actually. So, the top two contenders are going to face in Grand Slam Australia. With the winner of that match getting a title shot with MJF at Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
You got Andrade Swerve main event tonight. Winner of that faces Kenny Omega in Las Vegas.
That's how you
Gives
get
a
to Kenny.
bracket.
That's how you get to Kenny versus Drads to pay that off.
Yeah. Gives a bracket.
That will determine who gets one of the spots in Australia. So he presumably Hangman Page, maybe others will be considered.
Maybe it would have been Hangman Joe.
Yeah.
Yes,
Next
of course
week.
they referenced Joe's injury in training or something.
Just explain it better.
Yeah. Well, Omega says he hate.
Luckily for us, though, they're very composed. Excalibur just kept talking about it over and over and over again. Now I'm more confused.
Don Callis said he had. Well, we'll get to it in a second for Hangman. Omega says he hates to repeat himself, but AEW is supposed to be where the best wrestle.
I like Kenny Omega. Bobby Fish.
He'll happily fight someone that he hates, like Don Callis and his family, or someone that he loves to become world champion again. Bing bong, squeeze me. Out comes Hangman Page. Tells Kenny he looks good. He said, look.
Really does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
After all these years, the only thing distracting you from Kenny Omega is Tony Schiavone's shoes. I'm not looking at him anymore. Like an eye tracker thing. After all these years, he'd rather fight beside him. But then against him, but with the world title at stake. So be it. He said he talked about making the mistake of looking past Samoa Joe and the Ops and hopefully defending this title against Omega one day. But due to being screwed over, kicking the balls by hook, things are different.
When I want to kick the kid when he's down, he's taking up indie dates and all the rest of it. Every time Hook's name gets brought up, I'm like, I used that world title picture in that big time storyline about a month ago.
Yeah.
Ooh.
As much fire and passion as Omega has, he's not going to be the world champion. Won't be Andrade or Swerve. The next champion's going to be Hangman Adam Page. Bing bong, squeeze me. Swerve Strickland comes out and apologises for sounding like a broken record, but he said, look, I came back to AEW for the world title.
Both sound like broken records, lads, just like Kenny do it.
Says he hasn't been pinned since returning. He's getting back his world title. That's his mission. It's remained the same. Doesn't care who he has to stomp out to get what he wants. Can be anybody. Looks right at Omega when that happens, obviously. And he does mean anybody. And Omega says, I'm pretty good at reading people. Let's have a bare knuckle fight then. And Swerve just laughs and says, he asks if he's looking for a fight, really. And Swerve says, more than you'll know. And then bing bong, squeeze me. Don Callis comes out. And everyone's like, booed out of the building, obviously. He says, Swerve, enjoy being undefeated because it ends tonight when Andrade pins you. Little Kenny, Daddy's here to tell you that when Andrade beats Swerve, he's coming for you. And Callis hasn't forgotten about Page and has got something special in mind for him. They're all going to realize that the Don Callis family runs the show. Omega's music hits and he says, no, cut that off. Callis, you should have been worrying about yourself instead of your family. And he chased him off.
When's this going to end, though? Is the thing. This Kenny Omega, Don Callis stuff. Can we just say, right, you win the feud if you beat Hechicero on Collision or whatever, done. Ski Jones.
Well, they've got to get themselves prepared for a war with the Death Riders by the looks of things on this show.
Oh, don't get me started on that. I'm sorry. Yes, I can feel a rant incoming, but we'll wait. Yeah, again, the formatting of AEW television continues to be a little bit... I understand it's quite difficult to do. I'd rather the storyline be in place. The way you produce it and present it is a bit promo trainy. You know, maybe they can find out a different way of doing it. I don't know. As it is, they do promo trains, and it feels a little bit like every TV product I've watched and become bored of over the past 21st century. But I'd rather this storyline happen, even if we have to have it produced and presented like this. And I think any of the verbal performances were amazing, and that's becoming a trend in AEW. Like, they have got so many opportunities to have the wrestlers come out and cut unbelievable promos. They're all pretty adequate to keep things chugging along. they had the promo stuff so down in 2021. It was like, hell, not only is this like the best wrestling, like there's blood, they say the S word a lot, and I like that. These promos are unbelievable. I just feel like there's so many more opportunities that they could use to maximize, to like get some proper, just some proper promos. Not these like, right, I'd have to say my bit to summon you to say your bit, and then that'll summon the next person to say their quite little small bit. I don't know, I just feel like there's missed opportunity.
I think I'm just getting more like effectively worked by the scene writ large.
I
really.
love the scene.
Like, I'm more patient with a bing bong squeeze me train than Sidgwick at the best of times. But like the whole was great in the bum of its fart here, easily. Like
Everyone's saying it.
none of them,
Shush.
none of them other than Kenny.
Shush. Not even shut up. Shush.
None of them other than Kenny felt like the guy you imagine getting the MJF match at Revolution. But I didn't necessarily have a problem with that because they've actually made me look forward to watching that play out. It's
Watching
that kind of
Kenny
like nice,
get elevated above.
yeah. It's that nice, predictable. It's that
Yeah.
good feeling of like, oh, like I buy them as challengers. I don't buy them having a hope in hell of stopping Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
And that's a
It
fun
makes
thing.
Kenny Omega in turn feel unstoppable. And
Yeah.
like he's elevating himself over like the two of the biggest headliners in AEW's recent history.
We got 2 Dynamites before Renaissance Australia, haven't we?
Yes.
Because it's this weekend, the 14th, Valentine's
like.
Day weekend. So I think, yeah. So we've got time for the Hangman Page stuff to be resolved. We get a video package for Stat and Thekla for the world title later. And then the Babes of Wrath are there saying, look, you know how this goes. Sisters have seen it. How about a deal? You get a tag title shot if you don't get involved tonight.
Decent that.
Decent that sets up a match. It allows AEW to avoid that trope of interference that happens in too many matches. So, yeah, one of the less offensive AEW backstage segments. They all feel so rinky-dink. They need to do something about this. Everything that gets shot backstage in AEW just feels low-stakes, trivial, and rinky-dink. I would like them to... Again, it's another thing I'd just like them to reimagine. I know they can't do it in the same way as New Japan does it with like the press conference and the flash bulbs and the sweat-soaked wrestlers afterwards. That feels like sport, which is what I want AEW to feel more like. I don't know, but like do something different, like an Oakland position, something like that, because it just looks rinky-dink in the extreme.
Yeah, it goes all the way back to when the sound would be off in the, remember the AEW backdrop? Where like it looked fine as an interview spot.
We have come in here today. Oh god!
Like you'd miss, and then even then the audio would have this like weird hollow quality where the crowd was sort of half in, half out of it, and that it's never really tightened any of that up, have they? The thing is, the opposite side of that is that AEW will, on occasion, do something so creative with one of those scenes that you're left with a nice memory of it. Remember Stat doing squats with Renee Paquette interviewing her? Like there's obviously more freedom to how these things look.
Wardlow doing...
You don't have to be
with a
mental to
girdle.
work at AEW, but it helps.
That's a fair counterpoint to that. Yeah.
Was Wardlow doing something with a girder or something at one point?
Yeah.
Or some
Yeah.
strutting,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
So I understand why.
Yeah.
They just think, oh, there's it's potentially a playground. But yeah, too often it ends up like scanning a small time instead.
They need to devise a way to get longer promos presented in a way that doesn't remind you of just bargain basement rubbish American telly. That would be one of my big objectives if I was running this.
Would you sort of summarize it by saying less rinky dink, more outside the box think?
I wouldn't say that at all. I mean, I would say things.
Jesus Christ, mate.
I would say like different words.
No
meaning the
bad
same
ideas.
thing.
We're just throwing the ball around.
Can we move on?
To a Continental title eliminator. Yeah.
Where this is
This was the lower point of the show for me, I think.
Jon Moxley versus Ace Austin. The bell rings. Mox kicks Austin right in the face straight away. But he fights back. There's a nice sort of bit of gymnastics on the apron to allow him to hit Mox with a PK on the apron before we go to a break. When we come back, there's the classic back rake and superplex from Mox. But Austin comes back with some corner clotheslines. He tries a springboard clothesline and gets his head taken off with a Moxley lariat. They trade pin attempts. Austin hits a roundhouse kick and gets a nice near fall. He avoids a charge in the corner. Springboard kick gets another 2 count, but he takes too long to capitalize. And Moxley hits a cutter out of nowhere and a death rider for the 1, 2, 3.
Oh, God, I resented this. It's a strong-ish start of the show. Like, squash was amazing. I had to get through the admin of the title picture, which, again, I will permit because it means we get the title picture. And then this, I'm like, who's this for and what's it trying to achieve? You've got Jon Moxley. Like, drill down into this, right? It's such a waste of time. Jon Moxley in a predictable defense of the 5th men's singles title. Like a definitional waste of goddamn time, this entire presentation. And it was, again, Mox is a weird wrestler in that sometimes he looks like he's the very best in the world in terms of the way he carries himself, the drama he can elicit, that credibility. Like, he's just so great when he's great, Mox. But, he's got a kind of unorthodox style where he doesn't look particularly graceful, but that is proper feature, not a bug stuff, that. But, like, against certain opponents, and you can never really guess who it's going to be, the stuff looks clunky. It looks like there are guys having 2 different matches in there. This was not a good opponent for him, I don't think. Ace Austin took way too much of it. This was, again, I'm not digging out Ace Austin here. Very talented, great body. My God, I like his legs. But I don't think he worked well with Mox here. He does this bit, and it's really early, so you're setting the poor tone. He's pissing about on the ropes, and he kind of takes an extra second. And if you're doing that sort of like springboardy...
Oh, I remember this, yeah.
Where you're trying to deceive your opponent and then using the ropes or whatever.
Like diving through back into the ring, isn't it? Yeah.
If you take an extra millisecond doing that, you look at tit. He looked a bit of a tit, and I'm like, I just groaned. The crowd weren't with this at all because they're thinking the same thing I'm kind of saying here. He's not beating Moxley. What's the point am I watching this for? It's one thing, if you've got 2 titles, and this is where having like the hierarchy of men's titles in AEW, it's been wrong for a long time. It really has. But like, it's one thing where if you've got 2 titles, right, and Jon Moxley's he's TNT champion and there's only 2, you're meant to be thinking, Ace Austin is giving Jon Moxley a bit of a run for his money here. Maybe he is getting close to a title picture. He can symbolize his ascension up the card because he's taking the TNT champion to his limit, right? You're thinking, on 6 months' time, if he keeps winning, he can go again and do it. It's the 5th title. Not going to work. And AEW's problem is it's always going to be like this. It's 7. We are approaching 7 years of that back and forth TV match formula of guy who's clearly not going to win takes a lot of the match to try and sell you on the illusion that he's going to win. I don't know. God bless you if you found this entertaining or dramatic or purposeful. I think in every conceivable way, this was a total nothing match, a total waste of time. Unify some of these men's title. It's kind of a joke. And if it's not a joke, it's certainly a mess.
It's wild, isn't it? Just as you were talking there, I was like, that's a really good point because later on in the show, Don Callis goes through being like, Andrade's going to take this one, Takeshi's going to take this one, Fletcher's going to take this one, Daves and Doyle are going to take this one. And I was like, even if that all comes off for his grand plan, that's still not the Don Callis family holding all the gold.
Yeah, I know.
It's wild.
It's there is still. It only takes This is a half great, half middling show. The middling stuff just annoys me at this point because it just brings into focus that it is a bit of a mess, AEW's book. And if you really drill down into what's important, titles, who's over, what we're doing here, are we using our time meaningfully? And so often the answer to those questions is nah.
That was some excellent critical analysis there that I would encourage people to go back and listen to every single time a match has gone roughly this length featuring wrestlers roughly in this position, and you feel roughly nothing.
And what changes? Roughly nothing.
Yeah, it's exactly why I wanted to pick up on that thing you said. I know we shouldn't dismiss it. We should. We absolutely should, because this was a textbook example
Of nothing.
Of nothing, of the wrestling that you absolutely should dismiss, because several questions have not been asked of the why before they've even hit the ring, let alone when they're actually in there and what they're doing. I had such a good time with the opener, and then it's almost like, through no fault of Jon Moxley and Ace Austin's placement on the show, I guess.
They're both 10 times better than this, obviously.
Yeah. But you've been given a sort of an example of something else you would like to see. And then I was kind of the living Roy Hodgson meme once this passed like the 90-second mark. I'm like, this is this.
Or the other one. Let's not take the piss here.
This could be Jon Moxley doing what Kenny Omega just did, and I wouldn't have had any problem with it, because it's like, right, Dynamite is the flagship show, and here's what the stars do to the guys that aren't the stars, and state their
collision match.
Yeah, state their case and all of that. And how long was this?
I don't know, actually.
It was too long.
Did it go past 10?
I think so.
Felt like it.
Yeah, it felt like it, didn't it?
It went to a break, so almost definitely.
And Moxley had to give Ace Austin that in order to hit that time.
Yeah.
So get back on the whiteboard and scrub out the number 10 and put a 4 on it or a 6 on it, and then just wow, we've bought ourselves 4 to 6 minutes of very, very valuable TV time here.
10:05.
That's 6 minutes too long for whatever it was you were attempting to establish it.
Not everything has to go back and forth.
Yeah, Omega Romero.
There is a graveyard of matches that mean nothing really in AEW's TV history.
Based on how we are currently starting to feel as well, this was kind of the worst wrestler it could have happened to. Because we continue, I do, I don't want to speak for you, I continue to try and hold on to hope that the Jon Moxley thing has the payoff we want. But
I've got a payoff in mind, buddy, and I'll tell you it shortly.
As that hope erodes, a match like this becomes evidence of where we could be heading back to.
Yeah.
So not a good week for that either.
Yeah, I should mention post-match, Konosuke Takeshita's music hits. He comes down, gets in Mox's face. He wants the title. Mox obviously talks about the Continental Classic. And then Davis and Doyle kind of Mox in the ass by jumping from behind.
Yeah, thus telegraphing the result of the tag team title match.
Yeah.
That's not good booking, that. Not only does it tell
Jim Ross.
all but
Sorry, whenever I hear that, I think Jim Ross.
It's not good booking. It telegraphs the result for one, which is bad enough in and of itself. But it really, I don't know what we're doing with what Jon Moxley's direction is. And it hasn't happened yet. So I will caveat and qualify by saying it hasn't happened yet. I do not feel good about Jon Moxley at all. And I was really, really fascinated by everything he was doing at the end of last year.
It's not just us. Everyone in the WhatCulture office is saying it. We brought up this, and Andy's he's kind of slipping back into the ways that we got so grumpy with him before, basically.
The worst Jon Moxley ever was, I need something to wear to the ring. I need a belt. I need gold. I like gold. That's Jon Moxley, isn't it?
Gold Moxley.
Gold Moxley. But he does, doesn't he?
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
I love gold.
Austin Powers. Ace Austin Powers.
Because the second that any old belt will do, any old belt will do. Obviously, he wants to be world champion. He loves being world champion. He's had 2 epic reigns of that world title. He
Links it
loves
with
it.
Cesaro.
But then he gets
Yeah, baby.
but then he gets the IWGP, and that's obviously vastly more prestigious than the AEW Continental. What is it called? Is that what it's called? And he has that 2023 run, ending in that absolute dog shit match with Naito at Forbidden Door.
Good Lord.
But even like that, he's just defending his title in pretty drab hard matches.
Yeah.
He's doing that again. I love gold. He just Gold Moxley. He needs to be. He needs the cure for gold, because when he's addicted to gold, he's obsessed with gold, and when he gets gold, he gets into bad habits.
Yeah.
He loves having the belt and beating everyone.
He does. Bob Moxley.
That's stuck now. I'm going to mention it next week. Can't talk about Jon Moxley seriously anymore.
I'm sorry, guys.
Bob Holly Gold member.
I've got more.
That's what it is.
I've got more to say on Mox and
Marky plug.
I like that. Mox et al. Later in the show.
Right. Let's move on to the TNT title. It was Mark Briscoe versus Clon making his Dynamite debut, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, as a wrestler. Because there was this week where he would just rock over Clon's here. He's like, kind of get to the running a bit late.
That's what I'm going to put.
I may come to, after, so I promise he's sound next. Just Clon.
I promise Clon sound. That's really funny, Clon being sound.
Yes, man.
It's all right, actually.
Hey, Clon, show me your thing. Yeah. TV's gone. Stop there.
Clon sound.
Yeah, we're trying to get the football on the old hooky box. It's not supposed to be working. Clon, you couldn't work with that, could you? Oh, sweet. Thanks,
Clon
mate.
buys the beers because he don't get ID'd.
Yeah.
Probably old enough for that mask.
How old are you? How old are you? 21. Let's see your ID. Fair enough.
I sound Clon.
21. Stupid.
NXT review. Good. We had a good laugh yesterday on that.
Yeah.
Really caught me on unawares yesterday. Stupid.
You stupid.
Yeah, it was Clon versus Mark Briscoe. Early on, Briscoe grabs a chair, and I'm like, you can't use that. But he does his thing where he's going to leap off it. But Clon flips over it, tries to launch it at him, misses Briscoe. Briscoe fires back with a big lariat, baseball slide, blockbuster from the apron. But he takes too long, and Clon traps him in the old ring skirt. Big boot takes us to a break. When we come back, there's a double clothesline for a reset. Back and forth. Briscoe hits an exploder, corner charge and a fisherman's bomb. He hits the froggy bow, but Clon kicks out. He wants the J Driller, but awesome spot this. Clon kips up on the impact of a J Driller.
No.
Very nice.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Hits a Pele kick and a side moonsault, one-legged side moonsault to the outside. Takes him back in, double stomp off the top. Gets countered though. Briscoe fights off a portal bomb and suddenly gets a high stack for the flash 1, 2, 3. Let's pause there because a lot to say about what comes afterwards.
This threatened to become really damn good, but I also thought that still were trying to work out exactly how to wrestle one another at various points. I know it just felt like it was on its way to being something, but then the odd bit of hesitation dragged it down. Couldn't decide, right? You know this thing that Clon does where he leans backward a bit and then sort of lulls his opponents into an attack and then sort of stands upright and then catches someone away. I was like, what's he doing here? It's interesting. I can't make my mind up whether I like it. And the more he did it as the match unfolded, I was like, that's good, that. It's like a skill move. If you were wrestling someone who kept doing that, like, you'd want to break their legs. It's like, you know, when someone's like doing keepy-ups past you, like kicking the ball in the air repeatedly, and you're just like, you're taking the piss.
Yeah.
You kind of want to break their legs, but that's the whole point. He wants you to get riled up.
Yes.
And then he can do a move past you. So I really quite like that. A few moments of hesitation kind of dragged it down for me. But I put it this way, right? The idea here was to profile Clon, to just, like, protect him in defeat, but get you to think this guy kind of rules. And remember Hologram, who also ruled? Well, he's a clone of him. And they're going to have a foo-head. So get excited.
That's Excalibur.
Yeah. So I think ultimately I'm like, do I want to watch the Clon Hologram match a bit more having watched this? Yes.
I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I would put this as the perfect contrast to every problem I had with the prior match. Like not all matches.
Contrast.
The contrast, yeah. Like, they're not all born equal, or they don't all have the same purpose, but this was the way to do it. Briscoe was the old pro in the way that Moxley was, with this, like, like a little bit of uncertainty, the threat that was ahead of him, that it like exists, as you say, like to put over the opponent even in defeat. Use it here, and they did, as opposed to in the Moxley Ace Austin match. I quite liked. I liked watching Briscoe here. The sort of the worked uncertainty followed by figuring it out was like constantly written across his face, and the best ones.
And he's got a great face as well.
Great face, and the best ones do that as well. Like it's stuff that you ideally don't want to look for, but then when you do see it as an older fan, you just enjoy it all the same. You're just watching them in it, and it was just nice to watch. I like Clon. Like this was I know he's been around a little while in that, but this Dynamite debut, this was a bit of a showcase for Clon, and an effective one at that.
Yeah. Not many people watching Collision these days. Okay, so these things are necessary.
Yeah.
So after the match, Briscoe gets the mic and says he's not doing any more ducking or dodging. He's going to get right back into the action on Saturday night. Open challenge for the TNT title, but please, no one from the Don Callis family. I'm sick of them.
I felt pointed.
Yeah.
Anyone else step up? The lights go out. There's a heartbeat. And suddenly we see the words Psycho Killer written on the Tron. Tommaso Ciampa is all elite. Huge reaction for him. Pyro, fire, all that sort of thing. He walks down to the ring, stares down Briscoe. Obviously, history with them. And looks at the TNT title. Says he's coming for it. They back and forth a little bit. And Ciampa pecks Briscoe on the cheek before leaving. It's all set for Collision. Old man Ciampa.
Oh man, Ciampa gives me the creeps. I will say, right, I don't... If someone had said, should Tommaso Ciampa have signed with AEW this time yesterday, I would probably have said something like, don't care, it doesn't matter, Toni will do it anyway at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not begging for it. Like, after one final beat, and I know it was 6 years ago, be that as it may, I still haven't forgiven anyone involved. That last singles match between Ciampa and Johnny Gargano is the most wretched wrestling experience. That's actually what they should call WWE, isn't it?
Oh, that's good.
Wretched wrestling experience. That's what it stands for.
I think it's being correct and funny.
Yeah. That's what it stands for. Seriously, there was...
But seriously, gang.
Seriously, gang. I famously hate that. Hate that. And then basically, ever since, Tommaso's not really been that over. He's had some career highlights here and there, but kind of wild to see him. This is where he belongs. This is the fans who would watch that kind of thing, like Black and Gold in 2018, and still maybe rewatch it or like respect Ciampa for doing it way more than like that main roster WWE audience. He must have been chuffed to get this reaction. And again, like, I'm not vehemently against anyone coming in or for it. It's I've reached a point with my AEW fandom where it kind of is where it is. It is what it is. You can't really, like, Tony's just going to do what Tony's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to sign everyone, whether you like it or not. And that's what's happened here. I will say, I thought the presentation of him was really effective. Felt like one of the bigger debuts in recent times.
I would go as far to call it exceptional.
He
quite
came
honestly,
off like a pretty big star. Like, he kind of rehabbed him a little bit within a span of minutes. Thought he himself looked like ready to do this again. Felt like a voluntary jump. Like, we know what Triple H and DIY and DX and DIY think of one another mutually. It felt like he thought, you know what, this. I can't be arsed with this, like, little buddy club that me and Gargano have with WWE. I've got time left. I'm worth way more than this. Let's do it. Came off great.
It's only 40.
So much more than I was expecting, because I could not be arsed with anything relating to DIY. Look, he'll inevitably just be doing jobs on Collision in about 2 months. Or, I'm thinking, is he winning the TNT title? That's what I half thought watching this.
I thought that.
And
Well,
here's
the booking's good.
Yeah. I thought that booking it, like, they making this dude feel like a big deal when, does he deserve it after all this time of doing not much? Out of a nah. But even if it was just for one night, I got worked. And I'm happy to get worked. I want to get worked. I want to feel things. I usually watch Collision, maybe not in full every single week, in my own time. Not like waking up, God, Don't spoil us, guys. It's Collision on Sunday morning. Must set the alarm. I'll watch it my own time. The second I wake up on Sunday, my haunted body will make it too early. I'm going to watch this spoiler-free and kind of prioritize it.
So I'm with you on that moment of him, like the pop, and it's it's a debut or a surprise appearance. So there's that pop that's baked in. So I don't want to take that away from Tommaso Ciampa, but the reality is when anybody sort of
That's why you
appears,
do it, though.
Yeah, so you guarantee to get that. So if there's people that kind of aren't arsed either way, the pop helps inflate that opinion of him. I was really encouraged by that because the presentation was very strong. It almost, if you stop for a second and just watch this out of context, you could believe that this was 2021 when AEW was like milk and honey to the WWE wrestlers that we just couldn't wait to get shot.
Yeah.
Of like Vince McMahon's terrible creative. It had that about it for a second, and
He did want to get away from Levesque's terrible creative.
And like he'd be the last guy you would think would want to get away from that. But it had that counts for something. That really does. Like he's made a bad call, fair enough. But like it's I'm joking. Like
I mean, he was never getting over on
he wasn't. He was honestly
ever.
The boot here I go, 2023, even 2024, right? It was like somebody sat on the remote when DIY came out. Everybody is over, and yet singles, tags, whatever, the three of them, like nobody wanted them. There was no version.
No.
Heels, baby faces. Like right before he left, they had a cute little gag with a t-shirt. Like, don't call me a jackass. Don't call my friend a jackass. Don't call my husband's friend a jackass. That was the only time anybody went, Like 3 years of a creative boom, and the best you got was the t-shirt gag 2 weeks before he left. Like
2 5-star matches, though.
What's that?
Ciampa got 2 5s.
Oh, like
I was making a joke about Dave inflation.
Oh yeah, I don't mean NXT. I mean, of course, the other TLC.
Yeah,
good point.
yeah.
Like it was anyone that like said any of it was good was lying. They were just lying because they like those as wrestlers and they think that like wrestlers are enough. They're not always enough. This presentation, I've not seen this out of AEW in ages. They could have done like a lights off, lights on, Ciampa's in the ring, get the big pop, get the big shock. That stuff on the screen counts for stuff. It does.
Yeah.
Like the roll out the Psycho Killer for the first pop, like the name for those that didn't know that was his nickname if they'd never seen him outside of NXT.
Because you saw him, then you got Psycho Killer, and then you got the name in the fire. And
people rip the piss out of Triple H because he's got the biggest head and biggest nose in the world, right? But I've said this before. I have not a single problem with him actually doing the entrance prepping. It's the fact he tweets the videos of it and wants the acclaim for it.
Yeah.
Like, look at Penta day one and how effective that was.
Yeah.
Day one. Like, there's a reason why this stuff works on, like, mainstream TV wrestling.
It's a share.
Ciampa got it for the night. I hope he wins because I want that Don Callis point by Mark Briscoe. Like, it almost sounds like a gag. Well, Ciampa's coming in. He'll go straight in the Don Callis family. He might, but imagine him doing it by winning the TNT title when Briscoe thinks, finally, I'm a shot of them guys. Like, Ciampa wins it, and then Callis is like, nice work, mate. Welcome to the family. That's not a bad bit, is it? And it's like a nice like spot for Ciampa as well. I'm with you. I will watch. I will have to tune in to see how this one turns out.
Yeah. And it's on the same night as the Royal Rumble, so we'll be the only two.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'll be here watching the Rumble. I'll be watching the next day with the kids, so it'll be 10 p.m. Sunday night. But I will watch, and I will not want the spoilers.
Is it rare, or is it even unique, actually, that Ciampa's last singles match in WWE is for the US title, and his first match in AEW is for the TNT title?
You'd struggle to find anybody else that has that kind of trivia. Will.
To let me ponder there.
The big question for me now, of course, is whenever contracts come due, will
Well, one half's there, isn't they? DIY.
Johnny
so.
All Elite Wrestling more like? Is that day going to come? How fun is that going to be?
You could, if I'm trying to picture a scene here in my head of what it would look like if Tommaso Ciampa is trying to encourage Johnny Gargano to join him over in AEW, and just imagine Triple H's boot as a frozen lamppost and Johnny Gargano's tongue like elongating as it's trying to get peeled off it. Like in Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
No, Tommaso. No. It's looking like it's about 30 inches long. His tongue. He's like flailing, trying now, and I must be fixed to Triple H. Don't forget Shawnee.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, it'd be.
I actually like AEW Dark.
Here's the thing, Johnny Gargano is so fundamentally obsessed with Degeneration X.
Yeah.
That I'd actually, if the day ever comes where TKO are like, is this guy who hasn't been over on SmackDown in 3 years? He's on what? Get rid. Like, I'd feel sorry for him.
I love that, by the way, because it's Gargs. You know, it's like 2006 DX. He doesn't like, he's a bit scared. 1997 DX is pretty scary.
He smells too much like cum over there.
Yeah. China's interfering behind the ref's back. I like it when they drop poo on the cheerleaders.
I think there's kids in the crowd. She shouldn't be getting her breasts out.
Repaint the building. Don't help them wash it off.
Renee Paquette is chatting to Carl Fletcher backstage. There's Okada. They talk about the whole screwdriver spot at World's End. And he said, look, I took it before you could use it because I wanted to face you in the finals of the Continental Classic. And I'm sorry. And Fletcher said, look, it takes a big man to admit his faults. He accepts it and they shake hands. There's no bitch. Where's the bitch?
I don't know where the bitch is. This is what I talk about when I talk about AEW's presentation and production being rinky-dink. The fact that it's just so visually reminiscent of any old bad WWE backstage promo. Just, it makes Okada feel like he's in TNA again or something. I know he isn't. And I know when he wants to, he can still be awesome. And he's just done what he did in January. And I don't know the solution myself. Guess what? I'm not a billionaire getting paid, like, over the course of however many years, $100 million and more and change to reformat this or to think of an idea of how to do it. All I know is that the current method, the current way, it just makes Okada look like he's just any old bum on the roster, slumming it on terribly produced American TV. It needs to be reimagined. I cannot tell you how seeing this sort of thing over and over and over again, like, there could be a revolution. I don't know what it looks like, but there could be in terms of how to present this stuff.
I like this segment because I like the character development that's going on with these, but I totally agree. I'll tell you who else agrees is Kenny Omega, because it was that all-time of being the elite segment when he just ruthlessly mocked it when he was there with the Bucks. He was like, and we're going to do it next. He just was singing it to himself because he was in it. And it's like, that's like wrestlers know this stinks. You know how when the Bucks used to mock the like they're kind of upside down looking at the TV, like that kind of thing. They know stuff stinks.
Yeah, it drives us nuts when they do it unironically as well.
Yeah,
in AEW, because it's just like there's a gravitational pull towards being WWE, and it drives me insane. I don't know what the answer is.
The world champion's out next. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He asked Taz why they're having to work in a dump like this. Taz like, I don't know, man. But before MJF can really say any more, out comes Brody King. MJF demands the music be cut and the fans stop barking. He says, apparently, despite ears like that, you're as deaf as you are stupid. Brody King goes to kill him, and MJF says, can we speak like men, please? Funny, that. Just like whilst on the apron, ready to run out of the arena. Brody King acquiesces. So MJF says, listen up, bark boy. Last week I made it very clear if you want a shot on my title, you have to beat someone important. And yet you're here following me around like a lost puppy. But that makes sense. I mean, you followed Malachi Black. Ooh, spooky, you turned the lights on and off. And you also followed Buddy Matthews, a name that strikes fear into everyone. How's his ankle, by the way? Actually, I don't give a shit.
No, love that.
And then you follow around a loser like Bandido. Maybe you should follow me around. I mean, you're big, you're tall, I'd pay you well. Of course, we have to fix the whole aesthetic. Never in my life have I met a liberal man that looks more like a Nazi.
Good stuff. Good line.
But it's okay. Get you a nice suit, a scarf. Because that's the end of the day. The pipe dream of you beating me is just that, a dream. The reality is, in order to be the champion of the world, you need to be a leader. Just like these schmuck fans, you're nothing more than a follower. But King fires back, saying, I don't need to follow anybody. And what you just described, that's called friends, something you've never had. Come on. He does, obviously. But anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, me and Max are best friends. So, King said, MJF's right, though. He sat down with Tony Khan and said, who? You be Tony Khan in this scenario. Who should Brody King face to potentially earn a title shot? And they figured it out. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. Next week, they're going to have an eliminator. And if King wins, he gets a world title match at Grand Slam. And he'll become the leader that AEW needs. And he just walks off, and MJF's like, what the hell? It's where he put his hand on his shoulder as well. And I was like, he looks tiny.
I thought this was a really effective bit of TV and an even better bit of booking, which I'll go into imminently. I just want to first praise Brody King, because I felt like I've been a bit harsh of his promo skills over the last few weeks, particularly because he had one line and he completely f***ed it up when he was talking about Bandito. And then last week was a little bit more awkward than it should have been because the barks were not forthcoming. But this week, the crowd were a lot more behind him. And Brody King, sneakily, he's one of those wrestlers, by the way, whose work can speak for itself. He doesn't necessarily need to do these big sort of intricate back and forths. He's got like a really good deadpan. A really good deadpan. Like, you know, Max, it's friends. That's like the way he said that.
You can tell he's got a real life outside of wrestling.
Yeah,
you can tell he's not totally consumed by the business.
Yeah, absolutely good. It's got friends. So I thought Brody King was strong here. Didn't ask him again to do anything that he's really not entirely comfortable or can get over doing. And I love the booking as well, because instantly, there's been a lot of this in AEW, I think, in 2020, in wrestling generally. Maybe there's been this collective realization over the holidays of like, Christ, we can't make every storyline last forever, Levesque. God, I'm really starting to get bad at what I do, Levesque. You know, this kind of thing. That's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
The Elite are thinking, meanwhile, God, this is getting a bit bleak, a little bit reunion-y. Ugh, let's kind of do something else in 2026. And on that, I'm thinking as well, should we try and make things less numbingly predictable constantly? That's Tony Khan, because this is early in the reign for MJF to be dropping a loss, and yet I'm thinking it's happening. And they've told you all along, like, oh, who's Brody going to have that match with them? Because Hangman, Swerve, Kenny, Joe, they're all sort of intermingling. So they'll have matches against each other at some point. But this Brody King, who's he going to wrestle? And then the cynical side of you, or the cynical me, which I don't have a side of me, it's just they're both there, is thinking, oh, probably someone with a bit more name value on a Collision or whatever. I did not see this coming. It feels early for MJF to be losing, right? But at the same time, they've invested quite a bit in Brody King being the big challenger before Omega, presumably, at Revolution. Like the Bandito match seemed to set up this one, you know? He's going to beat MJF, I think. And again, that answers another question. Like, it's just a bit more thought applied to this AEW World title picture that I wish they would extend to the rest of the booking, frankly, of... I had that thing, the thought, all along when this started to get, like, teased and mooted and what have you, MJF versus Brody King, of some going. They'll have to have some finish in mind to protect Brody King. Oh, right. They're probably going to go 1-1.
Yeah.
And if they go 1-1, guess what? They can revisit it maybe further down the line. And this is a proper actual angle. It's of like, whoa, I did not expect this. Surely Brody King wins.
Yeah. Like, surely he does. They have also peppered it. This was brilliant. This was absolutely end-to-end brilliant, this was. This had all the stuff I like about, right, I know I always put Triple H over it, but it's basically just good promo battle stuff where you find little links, you find little devices that make each other, like, make their hatred escalate organically and naturally.
Can I just say, I love the disdain with which MJF seemed to pronounce Malachi Black.
Yeah, that was satisfying, that wasn't it? Because even he could get accused of, like, throwing stones to his glass house here, isn't he, considering he was the devil and, like, was privy to lots of lights on, lights off booking. But, like, because that's so associated with Malachi Black, you can absolutely have a dig. You can definitely have a dig. the fact that wasn't just for nothing, though, it became part of this theme about Brody being a follower and how they followed that all the way through.
Adam Cole was the devil.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean, involved in stories around lights on, lights off.
Adam Cole was the devil.
MJF was the devil first. The devil iconography came in through MJF.
Yeah, but the lights on, lights off stuff was all Adam
That's
Cole.
true. I guess you're right. He was a victim of lights on, lights off rather than
Yes, he was.
perpetrator of
He
it.
was. That's why obviously he holds a grudge.
Good point. Well made. Even better than I thought it was. Well done. The point about him having friends was like a nice counter to that, but it all existed, presumably, to hide like the justifiable reason that MJF would just take a needless swipe at Buddy Murphy ahead of them having this match in Australia. So Buddy Murphy, while injured or not, gets this amazing pop in Australia when he...
It's Buddy Matthews.
Sorry, Buddy Matthews, when he... sorry, this was so fed good, I've kind of gone a bit fed head. Like, he makes the run-in to give you this amazing near fall, this cool 2 count in Australia. I don't know how his recovery's going, but that seems on a plate for them. You know, just like a
John
nice...
Cruz. Takes out John Cruz's interference.
Lovely, yeah. Just a nice moment that builds to a cool near fall, hot
John
crowd.
Cruz could dress as a kangaroo to do the kangaroo kick.
Love it even more.
I never want to see a kangaroo kick as long as I live.
Oh, come on, as a heel, mocking the crowd version of it. Like, he completely subverts the old
Maybe
one.
one.
In
Maybe
Australia.
One. Maybe one.
Well,
Just I bet.
I better.
either one. Something else I loved about this, because all of it was so good. That was it. As much as it's easy to say and then observe and enjoy this idea of the long game, Kenny Omega and the rest, the short game, Bandito, Brody King, whoever's next, there's still an art to booking that credibly.
Yes.
Like, it's not easy. Just because that's this great idea, it's not easy to book it. Because how do you justify all these queue jumpers, basically? Like, Bandito's a world champion in Ring of Honor, so you can and they've already been in the middle of a feud, but how do you kind of keep waving these mini series title matches away? Well, again, asked and answered. Like, there's no... If Brody King has got to beat, I don't know, who could Tony Khan set up to do a job? AR Fox, off the top of my head, right? Let's say he's beating AR Fox. Like, that immediately calls to question this mini tournament, doesn't it?
Yes.
Brody King's getting a shot through one easy win when these have got to go through. Like, they've found the way. They've found the way, and they'll continue to find the way because there's probably one more TV match for MJF before Omega in March. Maybe there's not, but you could do it. You could justify MJF, like, throughout this, finding some bother so that if and when he beats Kenny Omega, he's got his next TV one.
Buddy Matthews.
Yeah, if he's healthy and good to go. It's so impressive, this.
We get a video package on the Young Bucks, talking about humility, going back to their roots, tassels and super kicks next week. Super kick party in Las Vegas.
Indeed.
Sounds fun.
Is it going to be that simple?
I think it is.
I think it is.
The comeback the other week was a breath of fresh air innit, for the Young Bucks.
And then we got the women's world title match. It was Kris Statlander versus someone who's toxic.
To the core!
Thekla. Loved her entrance here. Loved everything about her. Was very much in the Michael Hamflett camp of put the time on it.
It was time, probably. But, you know.
I mean, they've got just as well. They've got loads of heels. I mean, they've got any heels really. Nah. Megan Payne I'll rate, but
yeah,
it's pretty much it. All just having fun. It's funny, isn't it?
What's the noise? There it is. So there's a handshake or an offer of a handshake to start. And Thekla slaps Statlander and bails to the outside. Statlander gets her way back though. There's like a leg drop in the ropes followed by a delayed vertical suplex outside and a slingshot into the steps. But Statlander's enjoying this too much, posing for the crowd. Thekla catches her with a boot. There's a double stomp off the apron. The crowd can't decide who they want to win this as we head to a break.
Thekla was doing too much of that good mouth and off stuff. You know, just like she would take a moment, just like shout, "Hey, you want some more of this?" And dickhead or whatever. Just like Mr. Perfect would do a bit of it back in the day. It's you kind of like it. It sort of ingratiates you with an audience live, doesn't it? When they're like, they're having fun doing this, enjoying the work.
When we come back, Thekla wants like a tarantula in the ropes, and Statlander, this was awesome, just powered out and then sort of Alabama slammed her into the face first into the turnbuckle.
Tits.
There it is.
There's a spinning fisherman's bomb for a near fall. Statlander wants a DVD, but Thekla escapes the apron and guillotines Statlander. She rolls through a top rope dive, but Statlander charges and takes her down with a lariat. She goes up top, but Thekla catches her up there and hits a hits a spider suplex, which Taz calls Black Widow Jones over here.
Trivialized everything again, Jones.
I know.
Stat rolls to the outside to get some distance, but
You should have one Jones per show.
Yeah. And then if he's used it, tough.
Yeah, tough tits, Taz. Oh, sorry, that's too many T's.
That's a different one of his TV segments.
Yeah. Stats goes to the outside. Thekla hits her with a huge crossbody. The crowd and me are very much behind Thekla now.
Yeah, they kind of wake up. They needed to.
Stat kicks out at 2 back inside, hits an uppercut, but turns her back, and Thekla hits a spear for a nice reset. Swinging on their knees, they rise to their feet. Statlander screams, beat me! But instead, Thekla spits in her face. There's a Black
I don't
Widow.
know, why did you pause there?
I really like Statlander, but I literally wanted to be her in that moment. Not for the last time on the show of me wanting to be something else, but we'll get to that. As a Black Widow briefly applied, Thekla goes to the arm.
Guna comments that I wrote.
Curb stomp for a close 2 count. She does the spider pose. She charges but runs into a thrust kick by Stat. But Thekla rolls out of Saturday Night Fever into a roll-up. Awesome spot. She matrixes to dodge a charge.
It looked awesome, that.
Yeah, wants another spear, but Stat catches her with a Doctor Bomb and Saturday Night Fever. 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Babes of Wrath come down, and then there's Megan Bain and Penelope Ford on the stage to stare the champs down.
I'm disappointed with this result, to be honest. You've really been building Thekla for a long time, to the point where I thought, well, there's got to be a title switch imminent here. Statlander hasn't done a great deal. Feels like she's worked with a lot of like the division already, which is the problem with strapping up someone who's been an ever-present in it, I guess. I just thought it's time. It is time to give it to a heel, because it's gone from Toni Storm, babyface, Kris Statlander, babyface. Like, the AEW women's division has a top heel or heel problem altogether. If you're going to beat the top heel, kind of save it for a pay-per-view, so there's a bit more drama, a bit more importance. But the match was... the elements of it were really good, really strong. It will not be remembered as an AEW women's TV classic, I don't think, at all. I think a pretty unenthused crowd didn't help it at all.
Sorry to interrupt, but would a reverse result have changed your opinion of that? Like, people would have more of a fonder memory of it if this was like Tekla's crowning moment? Because there was a period when she was rolling, you were like...
She was rolling. I think as well, like, if the crowd sensed, oh, there's going to be a switch here, which I didn't, like, at all at any point. Maybe it would. But it's weird, like, this crowd started to come alive when Thekla started to really turn it on. Like the spider walk. There was a bit where she really lunged into a strike that was so close to connecting. Like, that intent that I talk about constantly.
Yeah.
Like, she really woke up this audience. And I'm not saying Statlander didn't. Like, some of her bombs looked as tremendous as ever. I don't know, this wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. And I know you shouldn't necessarily judge a wrestling program or maybe anything if it doesn't meet your own fantasy booking. I just personally found it time. If not Thekla, who else? It's not as if you've got the MJF scenario where you're like, oh, well, you know, there's so many of them lined up and it just goes to show what happens in this division compared to the men's. So many are lined up for MJF. You could book feasibly 3 big pay-per-view matches. MJF Hangman, not the one I would book because they had the pay-per-view series last year, right? But whatever. You could still do it if you wanted. MJF Kenny, MJF Swerve, right? You've got 3 potential Revolution main events. Who's Statlander even working next?
Yeah.
Disappointed all around.
I thought this was the exact match that, like, Kris Statlander fans would, like, use to rationalize why she is the women's champion and why she should stay that way. And like for me personally, and I'm guessing
Didn't
some
have
others.
that much heat.
Well, right. So this was the exact match why I would say you would change the title, but I think it was serving the purpose of both. You mentioned like the bombs. That like this was clinical to me, but I imagine a lot of people would say, "God, this was well worked and well fought." You know that like if you're a Kris Statlander fan, you got that Kris Statlander offering. But what that offering presents to me, especially as the champion, are these quiet crowds that will sometimes blame the pay-per-view time on, will sometimes blame the lack of a story. That wasn't the case, like, in either example here. This was, like, at the point of Dynamite where it still could have been hot. It's been a nicely told TV story to prep a challenger to potentially win it, as we say. A bit of an upset, but not really. Yeah, I would imagine there'll be Statlander fans being like, look, here, this is why she's the women's champion. Look at the solid work, look at the dependable work, all that kind of stuff, which if you're invested in it because of a longevity or because of just an inbuilt respect that you've got for her, you would watch this and go, yep, like what a nice, tidy bit of business.
People do love her.
Yeah.
The people who love her, love her. We met Statlander fans in Vegas and best friends. Like, it's real.
It's in deep with people, isn't it? You know, there's a good hand that we love.
Just make the noise then. Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove it, make the noise. I did think as well, like, just to add to the analysis a bit, when they did the on the knees, it's a beg of a spot. It's the bit of the match where it's like, this is feeling epic and competitive and on a knife edge and too close to call. Start making the noise now. Start getting behind people. Start chanting, this is awesome, whatever. Not a good response. I always you'd never want to feel sorry for these ridiculous athletes who do things that you can't imagine doing yourself. When you start to feel a bit sorry for them or when they're trying to force it and you get that sort of cringe, never a good feeling.
I thought Thekla had a really good night, and I worry a little bit how you navigate away from this into something that maximizes her value, because I thought she was really, you said she was rolling. She was in it. She was really committed the whole way through. Very, very...
She should get the TBS off the back of this. Not straight away, I'm saying, but
you've got
performance here merited, like, oh, she's...
I
Which
agree.
women's wrestler would you have which heel women's wrestler would then go on to take it off Statlander?
I don't have your answer for that. Yeah.
I think you go back to Bane. I think if they're not doing mega problems for the tag titles or anything really with Penelope Ford as a tag team
Is that
again.
like the default answer? I rate her, but it's a bit default.
Yeah.
Mercedes money.
I think the chase with her, with Mercedes money, is, all right, I've been a complete, like, narcissist, megalomaniac.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I can't have the world title. I kind of need to do it the right way and do it as a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
Also, before you go, Wilbs, Hamflett, is your fandom for Thekla coming out in your clothing now? Is that what's happened?
What's that?
You have a Spider-Man sock on your left foot.
Oh, yeah. I don't really go in for character socks, which is why they're odd socks today.
Just into the spiders now, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'll find like they were from like old Christmas presents from years gone by, because clearly Adele would have been out and it would have popped the boys. I will get out some Christmas socks. Which ones? Spider-Man ones. Dad doesn't wear those. Yeah, but it's Azra and I'm making noise. I'm annoying you. And thus, I've got lots of odd socks that are left in drawers, like Spider-Man and Batman, or like a Rick and Morty socks. Most days, but both of these are definitely odds. These have been last along the way.
Who's dressed in Michael Hamflett?
Always match socks.
Always.
Yeah.
It's a bad day when I'm pissed off and I don't get to match my socks. It's just, it's like...
I like odd socks that you can buy as odd socks. You know, a pair of odd socks. I like those ones where you got like lots of different colours on and stuff.
At least they complement each other.
Oh yeah, these aren't. Yeah, these aren't. These are literally just they were balled together, and I noticed this morning, long after I put them on. Oh yeah, probably the bike one out front, and then Spider-Man inside.
Yeah.
But just checking my notes.
I think it's like I've been. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to avoid this. I think it's just that it got put in. I remember I'd like trying to wear odd socks when I was a kid. I was like, I don't care about this. So my mother was just like honest, like, they'll think we're poor people. They'll think we're poor people. I'm like, would that be the worst thing in the world? Yes. Would it?
Yeah.
I use my odd socks for something different, but we haven't got time to talk about that. Just checking my notes here.
Is it for coming in? Do you come into your socks?
I always find that so weird.
I was going to say, we know he doesn't, because we've definitely hit coming into socks before as a strange, like, phenomenon that American Pie seem to, like I don't know, magnify. Like, does it really go on much? Is it a commonly held thing? Like, not the cack. I mean, coming into socks.
It's just like probably better visual for the movie.
Is that like coming into money?
It's a better prop. It's a better prop, isn't it?
Yeah. But it must be inspired from something. Like one of them directors would have been like, oh, yeah, I used to do that. That'd be funny in the film.
Yeah, they put that in and he's gone, you know, we all did that. We all came in socks when we were a kid. What?
Everyone does that.
Yeah.
So, Sid, sorry, just checking my notes here. This is the one women's match on the show, which means we have to get to the name of the game. But before that, the aim of the game.
The aim of the game is to identify to the hour, minute, and second the first time you hear the first note for the first entrance theme for the first woman to come out and compete for the only women's match on Dynamite. And we play this game to underscore, italicize, and put in bold the pattern. The pattern we have noticed and the pattern that has persisted more often than not, more weeks than not, more episodes than not for nearly 7 years. The women's match usually falls in that 120 to 125, 1 hour 20, 1 hour 25 minute. Yeah. That slot, that position, with the idea being we'll have to put we've got to put 3 women's matches on, otherwise the Wokes will kick off. Yeah. They make a lot of noise doing it, the Wokes, but what about the blokes? More important, yeah. Balancing act is required. Balancing act is required here. Got it. I'm listening. Okay. For the first hour, you wouldn't even think there was a single chick on the show. Okay? Because we're going to do wall-to-wall balls. Yeah? For that first hour, wall-to-wall balls. Then in about 1 hour, 20 minutes, we'll have to put a chicks match on there. Okay. Yeah. Just calm. But the idea being is that we'll put a men's main event 99.2% of the time. Maybe the number's higher. Maybe someone can do the data in the main event, with the idea being, okay, they've already watched an hour full of wall-to-wall balls. Okay. People like to stick with things. You hear it all the time. God, I got bored of that prestige drama series. That outstayed its welcome, but I've already watched it now. We can apply the same logic, okay? So, yeah, there's woke stuff on. But I've already sunk an hour and 20 minutes into this. I was actually quite looking forward to the main event. I won't protest it, but I won't enjoy it neither, because women. Yeah. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And whether it's AEW or Warner or a combination of both, then that's what appears to have happened all along. Because they don't want to sit there, right, and just put chicks on, women on in the first 15 minutes.
Whoa, man.
A woman for the first 15 minutes, because people think, off. But they do meet some resistance from certain members of the audience, like Jim and Joe, for example, from Little Cock, Arkansas, when 1 hour, 20 minutes of the wrestling, just like I remember it. Oh, what the is this? Chicks? What is this, The View?
The View?
What is this? Sorry, I thought this was AEW, where the best wrestle. Now it's turned into Ricky Lake. This chick Well, Jim, the whole thing is they're actually incredibly gifted athletes. We should be taking the most check it out! Jump out for a bomber, everybody! Jump out for a bomber! So they want to avoid having the American TV public, okay, react like that. Okay. So that's the aim of the game. It's like, Sidgwick, it's getting longer. I think this is actually shorter than last week's, so shut up. Nonetheless, could you jinglize it? Certainly can. Don't worry, guys. When the women come out to play, the main event ain't too far away. That's the aim of the game, and the name of the game is, well, this is Ladies' Night. What a night.
Thanks, as always.
Shorter than last week's, so shut up. Imagine the fight.
You've got to invent enemies in your head. You always got to stay alert.
It's fair.
Gotta stay alert.
You got a wrestler brain, haven't you? You know, they're always about, like, what's somebody been saying?
I'll show you.
I'll show you. I'll prove you wrong.
Yes.
I had the old wrestler brain. I was starving. You've got the new one, invented enemies.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, thanks as always to the Panda Blair himself, Adam Blair at Adam Wilton 4, and Jose Palomares at the Ho 11. The guys always take care of the
Data.
Thanks for this sort of thing. Get well soon to the Panda Blair.
Yeah, get well soon.
But Jose has stepped up in his absence. Before we get to the results, Sidge, can you remind us of our guesses from the preview and descending it?
I certainly can. 2 seconds. I'm just checking up on my personal correspondence here. Is this important? 2 seconds.
Can you jinglize these personal messages?
I know it's a personal, mate, so I'm not going to read them out, am
Read them on air. So that's kind of the same.
Well, I'll do what I
Read them on
want.
camera.
Sorry, am I not allowed to check on my my personal correspondence when it might involve me at the last minute picking up my children, one of whom has just been sick?
Nah,
No.
I agree.
Shut
It's
up.
the sunk cost fallacy. You're already in this far into the podcast, so might as well stick around till the end.
Good point.
Certainly. Right. In deep sending
Yes,
order,
sir.
Michael Hamflett, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Adam Wilbourn,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
moi, Michael Sidgwick, 1 hour 1 hour 37 minutes 36 seconds.
It was 1 hour, 7 minutes dead, which means, in Jose's words, the champ edges ahead again. Hamflett, 4 incorrect guesses on the year. So he's got 1 correct one this year. I've got 3.
Quite early. 107. Only 7 minutes worth of women-free entertainment.
Almost the top of the hour. Not the top of the hour, but almost.
The middle of the top of the hour.
Yeah. Anyway, following this, we go backstage, and there's Don Callis with a robot that needs to go to the toilet. That's what he's doing with Proto Shitter. I'll not do the whole thing.
Good for me.
He's talking about how everyone's going to bring the gold home to Daddy. Andrade's win the world title. He knows Takeshita can bring back the Continental title. But a word of advice, Konosuke, you should forgive Okada, just like Kyle did. Suddenly he's like, what? And if you look up Carl Fletcher's name in the dictionary, you'll find the TNT title. What? But he's going to bring that back to the family, whether that's Briscoe or Ciampa. Anyway, he's off to enjoy a martini whilst Davis and Doyle bring him the tag team titles. And this is where Takeshita turns to Carl and he's like, you forgave Okada. And Carl tries to explain, but Takeshita just walks off dejected.
It's getting way too melodramatic, this Takeshita stuff and this Okada stuff, and this I'd tie that up and do something else. I'm actually getting a bit bored of it now, and I'm starting to get less enthused by the characters involved. Like Okada is he being fake earnest with Fletcher or what? Or is Takeshita looking like a little... Stop this.
Unless
you had it and then you kind of lost it.
Yeah, unless he's trying to do it so he's like going to try and put Takeshita on an island and then do the rest. Sort of this guy, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I need some movement. The whole point was Okada was piss funny, and now it's getting story, like the story. Ugh, don't like this at all. Callis doing this rundown just reminded me that there are far too many titles. And then guess what we get after this? An angle between
Ricochet and Jack Perry ahead of their...
This wasn't
National-
the moment or the week for this angle, was
No.
it, at all? I'd forgotten, this was a reminder that they have quietly scaled back the Okada Takeshita stuff because it was hitting this really great point.
There's
before.
been like scheduling stuff.
I guess so, yeah. But I loved the booking of them having their first match in the tournament. I thought that was super effective.
Yeah.
Like, are you really excited for this? But in fact, we're going to lift it away from the I think the right amount of melodrama and make it a complete tournament thing. It's almost a free hit then, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that Page Omega from the opener from All Out. Like,
It's just I liked it when Okada was being a complete arsehole and Takeshita was very slowly starting to go, you know what, I can't be arsed for this. And now he's like, he's like moping.
they had to Moxley wants him, doesn't he?
I think it's not falling off a cliff or anything
What,
yet.
Mox Takeshita?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since the introduction of Fletcher to their dispute is, I don't want to say ruined it because that would imply it's like Fletcher's fault. But like, I don't think Fletcher needs to be involved.
I think Fletcher might need to come out of the family because, like, if I'm him,
I think they're hinting in the
like if Callis is
direction.
going, TNT title probably for you. He's like, really? Is that it? That's where I am again. I'm still just stuck here doing the TNT title stuff. But like you say, the Briscoe thing with the Ciampa thing made me suddenly think, I don't think they're going to run that back again. Considering they made it.
Like, I'm patient because you really can't do all things every week, all the time. And I think sometimes I'm guilty of it as anybody, that you want it all. It's like the stories you're into, you want them all focused on. You don't want anything to get dropped. But it's been a pretty quiet month for this story. And it does, like, sometimes I guess things need to be phased up, such as the world title picture we all love. And then sometimes things need to be phased down, which is this a bit. But yeah, it sort of stuck out there. I was like, I was loving this. And it's kind of dialed the back of it.
It's gone away.
Yeah.
What did you want to say about Jungle Boy getting attacked by the Demand?
It's just like, who cares about the title? Why do we need this title? If it was, I wouldn't give two tosses about it whatsoever. If it was just they've run afoul of each other and they're now in a fouad, whatever, it's fine. I don't think it's that's not something I'm massively interested in seeing, quite honestly. But just there's another belt. It's a mess, really. It's a mess, AEW in many ways, and it needs to just get better. Yeah, that's my analysis. I'm getting a bit hungry.
Clean
now.
up AEW.
Yeah. I'm almost gassed after I do ladies night.
Tag titles match next.
Oh.
Yeah, this is tinged with, obviously, FTR versus Davis and Doyle. It's weird. I don't know how often this happens, that you can often speculate, I think it might have happened on that spot. It's rare that the wrestler literally says, I've torn my bicep, immediately, and you catch it. So get well soon to Jake Doyle, because it starts off with, as you two sort of suggested, just Davis and Doyle wrecking FTR with just shoulder tackles. They try and fight back, do FTR. Wheeler low bridges Davis, and Doyle gets sent to the outside, and Wheeler wants to dive, and he just gets caught and
Oh my God.
darted into his partner, basically. Davis and Doyle are hugely over as we go to a break. When we come back, it looks like Harwood's chest has been bloodied, but I think maybe he had a cut on his head.
Aye.
I think Doyle got...
Yeah.
If it was both, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. But yeah, he's in trouble, is Dax. Wheeler made the save, gets Doyle with a power slam, but that
looked awesome.
He just no-sells it and hits him with a huge body block again. Harwood's in the corner. They want a superplex, but Wheeler saves him and grabs Doyle and yanks him off the top, and then wants a DDT on the apron. But this was the moment. Yeah, Doyle just immediately turns to Wheeler and says, I've torn my bicep. And you're just like, devastating this, obviously. So Davis just takes over the rest of the match. He's fighting with, he takes out Wheeler, fights with Dax, who slides out and crotches Davis. Avalanche back suplex. There's a splash from the other top rope by Wheeler. They want Shatter Machine, but Davis sends Wheeler to the outside, grabs a sleeper on Harwood, who flails around. And then in amongst all this, Dax sends Davis to the outside, trying to get out of this sleeper. There's the Death Riders. Garcia's taken the referee. Mox clocks Davis with the Continental title. He then eats a Shatter Machine, and FTR 1, 2, 3 retain the tag titles.
It was trending really well. It's one of those where I feel like an arsehole now. There are obviously way more important things to worry about, and this match almost doesn't matter now because Davis and Doyle will disappear for a minimum of 3 months. And it's almost... what I'm about to say as well is probably fine. It happens. There was a speed run. They've only just formed as a team. This match is nowhere near as over as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Online, there's a lot of love for Davis and Doyle. They've struck an impression. This match is not as over as I thought it was going to be. So I was like, come on, get into it. These guys are absolutely awesome. It ends when it ends. And I tell you what, somehow the Blackpool Combat Club have returned. Because...
your tweet this morning.
Oh my God. We had something so good with all of them looking at Moxley like, are you trying to be a hero or something? What are you trying to do here? You're a loser and now you're a hero. It's
Playoff season. The real quiz. Right.
Yeah. It should have... Here's the thing. If he'd have just lost valiantly at the last minute, okay, in the dying seconds of that match with Okada, and it's like, he's come back from adversity, his mentality was questioned, and he's actually come back, answered the critics, fought like a bastard to try and get back into the C2, worthy of your respect. Jon Moxley, like, ladies and gentlemen, like, give it up for him. Oh, the Death Riders have killed him. It's like, you pricks, you pricks, you pricks. You've kind of foreshadowed it. You've teased it. He's done it. He's done it. He's sort of like, he's answered every single complaint. He's actually not just this guy holding on to power, pretending to be the tough guy. He's actually dug deep and done it. And you've done it. And you've betrayed him like this, you pricks. Fued started.
Mm-hmm.
That's better than doing a heatless match with Ace Austin on Dynamite, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry, it's much better than that. Now, we've reached a point where they're just baby faces. It's like, sorry. It's like the NWO, all of them, just turning babyface. Gotta shock you. We like WCW, despite what we said earlier. There are certain characters with certain motivations and attributes and traits and what have you that fundamentally have to be short-lived, or you can't turn heel. You just can't. You know?
Yeah.
Or turn babyface,
Yeah.
or one way or the other. It just doesn't work. The Death Riders can't exist longer than after All in Texas, really. They've done a magnificent job of, they found a way to prolong the lifespan, and with Moxley going to turn babyface and da-da-da-da. This is like the nightmare scenario. They're just hanging around. What, he can't turn and act like this babyface, I don't think. And guess what? It doesn't even look like they've done that, because what happens in the very next segment? Well, we'll get there, but Hamflett, your thoughts on the match and everything.
That was wild to have this segment next
Oh,
week.
God, don't get me started.
Share your thoughts on the match, and it's hard to assess fairly across the board, but I agree. I thought it'd be a little bit more over before things started to unravel.
Maybe the whole heel versus heel thing threw people because you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do. Cash Wheeler at one point was fired up, like, I'm cheering these bigger lads. So I think you were meant to take them as situational baby faces, but yeah.
I can sort of wave some of it away because presumably the cameras had to deal with the injury and the lesson.
Yeah, this is excruciating, bro.
But the amount of time the camera spent on Jon Moxley and Danny Garcia, like, horribly off-putting. Like, Moxley doing Jim Halpert faces down the lens, like the Bacon Combat Club. Like, they were just really happy with themselves. The Death Rashers. Like, they were just so thrilled with their cool ass work. And I was like, get the camera off. And then you remember it's probably, they've got to wheel somebody away. It's not nice and that, but it's like, so you've got like this director being like, you're still on, act a bit more. Him and Garcia, what's happened in there? Look what we did. Like, yeah, this was the week. Let's call this what it is. This was the week where you were like, right, no turn to come in. We know what old John Boy's doing again. Like, this was the week where I had to kind of say, all right, okay, I think.
So Death Riders are baby faces, yeah?
No, they just turned babyface.
Just turn face.
Okay, cool. We go backstage with Orange Cassidy, who's talking about a feud with Wheeler Yuta of the Death Riders. Slags off his like hair and beard, what have you. Yuta walks in, Shafir walks in and grabs Orange Cassidy by the hair. Timeless Toni Storm tells her to unhand him. Shafir's like a bad dose of the clap. You don't know how it got there, but she's going to need to get her out of here. Shafir says, you want some more milk, or does your girlfriend want some more flowers? Storm tells her to piss off. When her and Citrus Boy meet them, they'll be in some deep and security separates them all. The babyfaces and the heels, I mean.
Oh my God. Well, where to begin with this? Like, Orange Cassidy's basically doing Titantron gags without a Titantron to Wheeler Yuta, who's a heel. As far as that, when did Orange Cassidy turn heel? Did he?
I felt this a bit with Darby and Pac. I really did. I was like, there was too much stuff going on in the other bit of the Death Riders that was supposed to be like, Pac's going to murder poor Darby. I was like, I think they're all right now. Like, you don't need to like put him through a glass window. I mean, I got it a little bit then because this was way worse. Way worse.
So the idea is the Death Riders, you're meant to like Jon Moxley, and this is on purpose because he applied himself. He got a bit of their boys took a battering, okay, in the early rounds of the C2 and against Team AEW, if you like, with Kyle O'Reilly and the conglomeration.
Yeah.
Moxley has come back from a humiliation by winning in the right way and showing like real guts and mental fortitude. And those are admirable traits. He's a babyface now. What about the rest of them? Well, they hang around with Jon Moxley, you see. So they're baby faces as well. They did want to kill everything I hold dear, me, AEW fan, by wanting to kill AEW. Yeah, but they're hanging around with Jon Moxley now. Right, this act doesn't really work as a baby face, but Jon Moxley's been awesome. Let's kind of go with it, because that match against the Don Callis family, who are more objectionable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they didn't try and kill the company. They just want to win the titles in the company. Whatever, they're more objectionable. Right, okay, well, yeah, the BCs, the Death Riders can be baby faces. Okay, now they're going after, as long as they don't go after, they're going after baby faces. Yeah. What's so hard to understand about that? Right. Okay, well, not two of the most beloved ones in company history. Yeah. Orange Cassidy and Timeless Toni Storm. What are we doing here? They were baby faces in the segment against the Don Callis family. They were heels in the next backstage interview.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not being funny. Even Big Show wasn't as quick as that. Like, did Big Show ever do a segment where he was literally a babyface and without an explanation, a heel in the next segment?
The only one I can think of is probably when he challenged Drew in that weird dark match main event at WrestleMania. Hey, the Big Show's here. I fancy being WWF champion. You. Like, let's have a match. Like,
my God. And here's the thing.
You know what they should have done as well? They should have released some footage after Dynamite, exclusive, of the Death Riders walking into FTR's locker room with bottles of bleach, and was like, "Oh my God, they're doing it again!" It's like, no, we're just going to try and help them get the blood out of the gear from the cut that was happening there.
Anything else need to wash?
And here's the
Put the
thing.
load in.
And I don't expect it from the vast majority of the listeners, come viewers. Okay. But let's just square this for the pancakes waffles people. Can heels not wrestle each other? Well, I've just seen some pretty compelling evidence. No, considering there was minimal crowd reaction for FTR versus Davis and Doyle. Quickly, off the top of your head, right now, because I could do it with babyface versus heel matches or babyface versus heel feuds, right? Give me 5 to 10 great heel versus heel matches or heel versus heel programs that drew money. You can't. So there's, what pisses me off about this as well. Like, is Death Riders come Blackpool Combat Club versus Don Callis family happening because of, and we have to endure it until Anarchy in the Arena?
Certainly what
I thought that.
Yeah.
When's Anarchy in the Arena?
May,
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The friggin', we can say this now as well, can't we? Like, coming to drawing some conclusions. Toni Storm and Orange Cassidy is a subtraction by addition deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
They are so much weaker together. They seem to like the bit where Toni Storm is protective in that. And again, there'll be a particular noise that a lot of people attached to that relationship, and they're beloved
they're nice together.
characters. I don't think they are.
No, me neither.
Main event time.
I was just doing twee sounds. So everything's a sound to me now.
Andrade El Ídolo.
My black promo.
Everything is sound. Everything's a sound.
Since I lost the ability to have a she out of this.
Andrade versus Swerve. Fun sort of counters very early on. They're both going for big home run shots. But Andrade ends up on the outside. Swerve wants to clear the top rope and take him out, but Andrade moves and just smashes Swerve into the steps. Then he took a selfie with a fan at ringside.
They've unlocked Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kissed a napkin. Oh, I wish I was the napkin. And
Is that what you wish you were?
Yeah, it's the second thing. I wish there was a napkin. Just sitting there on the old table. Come on, please.
And used. Then eventually just getting thrown into a bin.
Yeah, watch this in bed with your sleeping wife on a morning, Adam.
Yeah.
You go back to sleep. I'm pretending to be a napkin. You got kissed by a stranger.
I'm napkinning out back here. Works over Swerve during the commercial break. When we come back, Andrade hits a Tonio to the outside. He wants that moonsault off the top. Swerve moves and he does the standing moonsault instead. Andrade wants to run at Swerve in the corner, but Swerve catches him and hits a Death Valley Driver on the apron to take over. They're fighting on the barricade, but Andrade avoids a pile driver and backdrops Strickland. But also Andrade crotched himself at the same time. So they both just make it in at the count of 9 simultaneously. Then Andrade kills Swerve Strickland because he hit him so hard with that spinning back elbow that he does.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah.
So good. I love that move. That is my go-to when people say, like, what's your favourite non-finisher? That by a mile.
Is it reasonable to suggest as well that now that Jericho's gone, it got even better within the context of AEW?
Possibly, yeah.
Like, there's nobody that's kind of dragging its quality down by having sort of nicked it as a finish that did get over.
It got over, I'll say that. It got over.
But now he's gone.
Not yet.
Still on the roster page right now.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
It's Tony Khan being nice, I think.
Not long left.
They're not playing fair with you, Tony. Take him off the roster page 2 days before the Rumble.
It'll be like a celebratory thing
now.
for a lot of people when he gets taken off the roster, isn't it?
Andrade wants the running double knees, but Swerve fires back up and it's a house call.
You know what? Sorry. I'm going to forget this. Take him off the roster page now. Pronto. Because Chris Jericho's already started. What I think is happening, if in fact Chris Jericho is leaving to join WWE, then he hasn't been removed from the AEW roster page because Tony Khan is thinking, you know what, he was instrumental in building this, legitimizing it, yada, yada, yada. Jericho's already done the thing that everyone knows he's going to do. Hey, he was on a podcast with the Hardys. I watched Bound for Glory. It almost looked like a WrestleMania. Certainly the second biggest promotion, He's already doing it, Tony, so why don't you f*** him in the ass?
Funny there was a tag team that could advise him on that.
Yeah, I know.
So, he goes for a double knees, but Swerve fires up and hits a house call for 2. Andrade comes back with an avalanche poison rana. He hits the double knees in the corner following that and a DDT, but Swerve gets his shoulder up. Andrade understandably wants another one of those spinning back elbows, but Swerve blocks that, wants big pressure. Andrade rolls out of that, but Swerve hits the house call, and he sets up for big pressure again, but Andrade grabs the referee, and in all the chaos of that, low blows Swerve, hits the DM, and gets the 1, 2, 3 to punch his ticket to the match with Kenny Omega in Las Vegas next week.
Really good, not great, enjoyable bit of head drop landfill in that I really enjoyed it. It wasn't like a TV match of the year contender or nothing close to it, but even though it wasn't like insanely great, elevated by the fact that Andrade is something else in this new persona.
Mm-hmm.
They've unlocked something in it. He seems to have finally sort of latched onto something on US TV on which he's been an enigma for almost a decade at this point. And I really liked his bungee jump setup into the Poison Rana avalanche. It just looked like spectacular. It looked fantastic. I think the best is yet to come from Andrade, and I've never had that thought in my life ever. I thought he'd peaked in January 2018, to be quite honest with you. But now I'm really digging this actual act. And good, you always have to protect people. It's fine. I reckon he can beat Swerve Strickland. I reckon he can beat more wrestlers, quite frankly. But even though I don't think it's going to last, Bull to beat Swerve.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm glad it's happened now. Like, because I'm with you. I'd just have it like a gut feeling that it won't last, but I love it. And I love that they've landed on this match that he sort of needed to win while this character was just brand new and over and fresh. And, like got me to want to watch a bit of Collision, like hearing and seeing about the Andrade thing. And it's like, right, well, that's immediately carried over to Dynamite. He's won this match. It's okay for a wrestler to feel like he's got momentum, even if long term you can forecast long time that you can forecast that it's not going to stick.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And he's got a history with Omega, obviously.
That's nice how they've circled back to that.
Because I was thinking that, because I assumed Swerve was winning. And so I was like, that's a shame. That would have been so good and then he wins. And I'm like, oh, great, we've got there. And Swerve's got, a lot of places he can go anyway.
I think it's a certain new direction he needs to take.
Yeah.
This throws you back to the early days of AEW as well, right? Swerve would come out and confidently speak about how he's going to be the next world champion, how he's going to win this and all that. And then he fails. Like, the character is far more interesting for a single defeat
Yeah.
in which, Andrade will probably lose to Kenny Omega, so that defeat is like all for naught ultimately. But it's how the character copes with that is what made early AEW so much fun. Like, because you could like directly track massive storylines that came off the back of like gutting losses that wrestlers didn't expect. I'm so pleased they went with this. Again, the Andrade Omega match is I don't want to say they've looked into it, but it's sort of a bonus they've been able to get back to it in this really neat and like relating it to the title picture way. So loved it.
Post-match, we see, before the show goes off the air, Renee's there with MJF. Your thoughts on the match next week with Brody King? If that oversized bag of milk with Sharpie written all over him thinks he's got a shot, he's got another thing coming. He goes to, before he goes to leave, Kenny Omega walks in and says, one more week, one more win. I'll see you for the title match at Revolution. Offers a handshake. MJF doesn't want any of that. Walks out. Walks straight.
Is it not 2?
Andrade, he'd need to win at Grand Slam as well. Was he not just like recapping how he's been getting on lately? Oh, another week, another win. Kenny Omega.
Okay, yeah.
MJF walks straight into Andrade. He wouldn't mind the world title either. He keeps walking, goes to get in his car, but before he can get in, the door is slammed shut by another one of his challengers, Hangman Page, who just stares MJF down, and MJF bails into the car and yells at the driver to drive. Hangman Page smirks to close out this show.
It's the word I'm looking for without trying to be too harsh. Worrying that Hangman Page was the last person in of the line, if you like. Don't need that at Revolution. Saw it twice last year, and the second one wasn't particularly well received. Hangman's colder than ever in AEW, so hopefully that's just a little bit of a red herring. Because I don't need Hangman in the title picture. I don't know what I need from Hangman really in AEW anymore. I'm not writing him off. I'm not disrespecting all the incredible work. I don't want to be fickle about it, but I'm just saying he doesn't really excite me nor interest me in the Big 26. So it was a bit worrying how he was the last sort of guy. All of this will be erased if, in fact, it's Kenny versus Hangman at Grand Slam. I'll feel amazing things if and when that happens.
Was this not them just like quite cutely mapping MJF's entire run? It's Kenny at Revolution. It's Swerve at Dynasty. It's Hangman at Double or Nothing. Freeing up all of them to get to Ospreay at All In when
maybe
he's
that's a joy of it though, that you are we are having these conversations.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just the sense of where we're heading. I really enjoyed that as overall.
Could just do Kenny twice.
Could always do Kenny twice.
When he's looking like this, especially. Yeah. But let us know your thoughts.
Feeling some kind of way.
Let us know your thoughts on AEW Dynamite in the comments section below, or on X at WhatCulture WWE. Watch there, you can follow all four of us. Sort of, you can follow Michael Hamflett at
HamflettX@gmail.com. I'm also on Cameo.
Follow Michael Sidgwick at
Sidgwick.
That's gold.
You can follow our brilliant producer Adam Nicholas at
It's Adam Nicholas.
And you can follow me at Adam Wilbourn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE, as I said. Make sure you subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. For now, this has been the Dynamite Review. My thanks to Hamflett, Sidgwick, to Nicholas. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.